All right, let's get straight to it. When we're talking about customer data, there is absolutely zero room for error. We're going to dive deep into what I consider our single most critical responsibility: protecting PII, that's personally identifiable information, inside of AWS S3. And look, this isn't about some optional best practices. This is our mandate. This is the standard for senior engineers on this team. So let's make sure we get this right.
Okay, so picture this. You're working, and an alert just blows up your Slack channel. An automated audit just found one of our S3 buckets, one with customer PII, is public. I mean, wide open to the internet. This isn't a drill. You can feel your heart start pounding, right? What is your first move? What do you do right now to stop the bleeding?
All right, those first moves, we call that immediate lockdown. Think of it as pulling the emergency brake. It has to be fast, it has to be tactical, and frankly, it's completely non-negotiable.
So here's the playbook, 3 simple steps. First thing you do, you hit the big red button, S3 Block Public Access, and you do this at the account level. It's a kill switch, your absolute first line of defense. Step 2, you dive into that specific bucket and you surgically remove any public bucket policies or ACLs. ACLs are kind of legacy, we gotta get rid of them. And third, you immediately start scrutinizing your IAM policies. That's identity and access management. You need to know exactly who or what has access. And the only thing you should be thinking is least privilege, nothing more.
And listen, while you're digging through those IAM policies, if you see this, Principal Star, that's a 5-alarm fire. A huge, blinking red flag. That little asterisk literally means anyone on the internet. It's the digital equivalent of not just leaving your front door unlocked, but leaving it wide open with a welcome sign. Get rid of it immediately. There are no exceptions. None.
Okay, so we've stopped the bleeding, we've locked the door. But I need you to understand something. That's just the bare minimum. That is purely reactive. And a senior engineer, a real architect, doesn't just react. We build systems where that door can't be left open in the first place. That's the difference.
And that brings us to the real meat of it, proactive prevention. We're shifting gears now from cleanup to actual architecture. The goal here is simple: make security the default setting for everything we build. And the first place we start is by forcing encryption.
So first up is encryption at rest. It's exactly what it sounds like. Protecting data while it's just sitting there, stored in an S3 bucket. We want it scrambled, totally unreadable. And for any PII data, our standard is non-negotiable. Server-side encryption with KMS, using customer-managed keys. Why? Because it gives us total control and a clear audit trail of who is accessing and decrypting that data.
So how do we make sure this always happens? We don't just write a wiki page and hope people read it. No. We build a guardrail with a bucket policy. This little piece of JSON is powerful. It basically says, I will deny any attempt to upload a file, any S3 put object action, unless it's encrypted with our standard, AWS KMS. It makes the secure way the only way.
Okay, next up, encryption in transit. You know, data isn't just at risk when it's sitting still. It's incredibly vulnerable when it's moving across the network, right? From a user to S3 or from S3 to one of our services. Our standard here is simple. It's absolute. HTTPS only. That's it. No exceptions.
And again, we don't leave this to chance, we enforce it. This bucket policy is like a bouncer at the door. It checks every single request coming in. And if that little AWS secure transport flag is set to false, which means it's an old, insecure HTTP connection, the request is just denied. Flat out. It's simple, it's brutally effective, and it's all automated. Okay, so we've locked everything down and we've put some strong preventative measures in place. But look, real security isn't a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's a living, breathing process. You have to think about the full life cycle of the data.
This table really gives you the whole picture. We've talked a lot about prevention, block public access, KMS, HTTPS, but that's just one piece. For detection, we lean on tools like Macy to automatically find PII and CloudTrail to log every single API call so we have a paper trail. For response, we use things like EventBridge and Lambda to automatically fix problems the second they happen. For recovery, what if someone deletes something? We use versioning and MFA delete. And for governance, we use things like VPC endpoints to make sure traffic to our buckets never even touches the public internet. It all works together. This is what defense in depth actually looks like.
Which brings me to the most important part of this whole discussion. This is the core idea. This is what separates a junior engineer from a senior engineer when it comes to security. This is the mandate.
The mandate is right here. Security hardening is not just about locking the door after someone's tried to get in. It is a complete, multi-layered strategy.
It's about prevention, detection, response, and recovery. You have to put yourself in the mindset of an attacker and build a system that can withstand them at every single layer.
So let me be crystal clear. When you are working with customer PII, these are your non-negotiables. You will use Amazon Macie to find and classify that sensitive data. You will have CloudTrail turned on for a complete audit trail of everything that happens. And you will enforce encryption in transit. I'm not suggesting this. This is the bedrock. This is the standard. Period.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to take back with you. Go look at your own systems, your own S3 buckets, your architecture, and ask yourself honestly, is your security just a locked door, or have you actually built a fortress? The answer to that question says everything about our commitment to protecting our customers.